we started doing Dark Side of the Moon while we were on tour in America. It seemed it was really good, enjoyed it. And we carried on doing that in Europe and started coming to the conclusion that some people would like to have a live version of Dark Side of the Moon, because not many people could ever have seen it. And so that sort of tipped the balance for us. Oh, we didn't screw around with it a lot. I mean, it is fairly faithful to the original. I mean, we didn't rework it all or do new arrangements, so it's quite similar to the way it was. It was really good fun to do after. Last time I think we did it was in 1975, so it was 19 years. Oh, I mean, the pressure on us all on the previous tour was quite enormous. But on this one, we all knew each other. They all knew how to play the stuff. It was much more relaxed in many ways, musically much more relaxed. And we also had various different sort of computer systems. We did less stuff that relied on computer systems this time. So we could be a lot more flexible in what we played and how we played it, and changing the order around. It meant we could do different sets every show if we wanted to. Every night we'd do a slightly different show. We could, we didn't have to really work so hard on getting it all right, because everyone knew what to do much better than they had at the beginning of the previous tour, which gave us time to think about doing Dark Side of the Moon, gathering all the bits of quad tape and film, and make new bits of film in order to be able to do that. So it was really much easier this time, much less pressure on us. The creative processes for making of the Division Bell album were much easier. We were back to an older way of working. Rick and Nick and I all sort of got together and had a jam together for a while before we started making that album. So I think it's safe to say that we all had a greater musical rapport before the start of this tour than we had again before the previous one. So many of those sort of things were on our side this time. I mean, we basically use people for most of these things that are people who have worked with us before. You know, we have Storm on hand to give advice and make some of the film things, and he's been around us for as long as I have. And we had Mark Brittman sort of putting together a lot of the live effects stuff, as he's been doing since '79 with us. We had Mark Fisher doing stage design. We also did wall shows and shows even before then. So yeah, we went back to a lot of people who have been part of our sort of more backroom department people. I like to put on a big grand show. It's what I do. I like to go out and play. I also, it's what I do for a living as well. So I like to earn the money, and I must like to show off, I suppose, to some extent. So I think of myself more as a musician than as a foxer. I sometimes wonder. That was very nice. I mean, I have to favour a move towards democracy in these parts of the world. I'm not sure. He's very on total capitalism, I think, Wagner, but it was certainly an experience. Most of the people around him seem to be ex-rock music journalists. Most of his advisors and people. We don't like to cut corners. We do things as well as we possibly can do. I mean, we spend a lot of money on getting things dead right. And we are lucky enough to be in a position where we can afford to do that, and have never had to change that philosophy. So I don't know about other people. We have been very fortunate, though. Apart from being very good at what we do, our dedication to getting everything right. I think that we can afford to, that we've never had to be pressured by record companies or promoters or anyone who's doing things any other way than the way we want to do them, has meant that there's a certain quality in what we do that people recognize and they like to see. I'm not really concerned with getting rid of the legacy of Roger Waters. I'm very happy and proud to still have his work as part of our legacy. It's not something I'm trying to deny or get rid of. So, and I can't see there's any great chance of ever working with him again. So. I don't know how we felt about it at the time. I can't remember, to be honest with you. It didn't feel that momentous at the time, because, you know, that's what they say. If they say about the Sixers, if you can remember it, you weren't there. Well, it's a lot different to the drive that one had I had when I was a teenager or in my early 20s. One was that rock and roll music and being in Pink Floyd was 100% of what I did. It was every sort of waking moment. But it's part of what I do now. There are many, many other things in my life, other responsibilities. So I don't try to be involved with that absolutely all of the time. But when I do get involved with it, I think the dedication to what I'm doing does completely take over for the period of doing it, which means that when you do a project like this one, which is writing, making an album, putting a show together and doing the tour, that does demand 100% time and concentration on what you're doing. And so I'm sort of more jealously guard my time not doing that thereafter. So for the next couple of years, don't expect to see an awful lot of me. I envisage recording again. That's about the only envisaging I'm doing at the moment. I certainly imagine I'll make another record, whether it's a Pink Floyd record or a solo record or a something else record, and I have no idea at the moment. And as for touring, who knows? I find it quite hard to imagine doing a big sort of world tour thing again. I suppose I think that I get more attracted and tempted by the idea of doing sort of 2 or 3 weeks at Earl's Court than going on a moving tour of stadiums again. So it's not really a prediction, but I could see myself doing sort of 2 or 3 weeks at Madison Square Garden and then 2 or 3 weeks at Earl's Court and a couple of other places like that. It might be what would turn me on a bit more. When you start thinking that they don't love you anymore, you've got to reconfirm it for yourself by going out in front of them again and having them cheer. I don't know, that's an ego thing, isn't it, really? I will find out about that in due course. Did you